BNP's censored party political broadcast cartoon is now an online, underground smash hit. Nothing can stop the truth, because the internet has broken for good the power of the controlled media to dictate what you can see, hear and think. And freedom of speech is back with a bang. Our cartoon is so massively popular because it's a breath of fresh air after years of stifling, politically correct censorship. Everyone enjoys us poking fun at the politically correct elite crooks who've broken Britain. But in truth, immigration isn't a laughing matter, because immigration hasn't happened by accident. The immigration flood that began in 1948 and has swamped our country wasn't the result of absent-minded folly by a few idiot politicians. It may have ruined our country, but it wasn't a cock-up. From the very start, the people behind immigration had a sinister plan.
You see, the European Union was the brainchild of an Austrian count, Richard Coudenhove-Kalergi. He was financed by the Rothschild and Warburg banking dynasties to promote a federal European superstate on the ruins of traditional nations like Britain. But the super-rich clique behind the corrupt banking system, behind so many wars and behind the EU, feared a popular rebellion to take back the freedom for which so many past heroes have given their lives. So they decided that it isn't enough just to destroy the old nation states. They also set about destroying the very peoples who created them in the first place. Mass immigration of Asians and Africans would displace, outbreed and mix nations like ours out of existence. Here is the monstrous, genocidal plan of the man behind the EU in his own words.
The man of the future will be a mongrel. Today's races will disappear. The Eurasian Negroid race of the future, similar in its outward appearance to the ancient Egyptians, will replace the diversity of peoples with the diversity of individuals.
That's what the diversity that we're all told we must celebrate really means. Getting rid of you. Getting rid of our people. Anti-racist is really code for anti-white.
Anti-racist is a code word for anti-white. White.
Coudenhove-Kalergi and his crew also planned a new aristocracy to rule over the mass people forever. The nation wreckers are trying to impose on every Christian, ethnically European people on the planet. Preserving their own group, teaching their own children to be proud of who they are and to stick together, but using brutal, moral klebspear words such as racist and fascist against anyone else who simply wants to do the same thing.
Racial abuse. Racism.
Fascists. Is your party racist? Is your party racist?
No. We respect all people's thoughts.
The good news is that millions of us are determined to use the next elections to make a huge protest against immigration. And more won't be fooled again by the controlled media hype about Nigel Farage and his BBC-promoted safety valve party. Compare how the BBC treat them. No wonder people smell a rat. Because UKIP aren't really against immigration. You don't have to take my word for it. Nigel Farage even boasted about it in the European Parliament.
Can I make something clear to you? UKIP is not against immigration.
When he thought that you wouldn't be able to see and hear what he really thinks. The UKIP conjuring trick is to talk about limiting net immigration to 50,000 a year, because that means that for every Brit who emigrates, they let in another immigrant. Over 250,000 Brits leave each year, so good old Nigel's balanced migration policy would see them replaced by over 250,000 immigrants, mostly from Africa and Asia, plus an extra 50,000 for good measure, every single year. They must be mad, literally mad. The UKIP Tories won't stop immigration. It's just an elite sponsored safety valve, a trick to waste your vote while they keep replacing us in our own country.
Because the only real difference between UKIP and the old parties is that UKIP's policy would keep out Poles and let in Pakistanis. The difference between all of them and the BNP is that we wouldn't let in anybody because Britain's full and because immigration is a crime against the British people. So we'll shut the doors for good.
Richard Kudenov-Kalergi, ethnocide of the peoples of Europe, capitalists and Zionist supremacists.
Once you check for yourself that Kudenov-Kalergi was real, that he was the evil genius behind the EU, and the drive to use mass immigration and racial integration to wipe the indigenous peoples of the white world off the face of the planet, you will also understand that just shutting the door is not enough. Third world mass immigration. Third world mass immigration. It will murder our nation. It will destroy us. It will destroy our children's future through a mixture of displacement and integration, unless we do something more than just stopping it. We have to take action to reverse it, because that is the only way to prevent the criminals who impose this on us from achieving their wicked racist plans. The demographic time bomb cannot be defused by slowing immigration down, or even by stopping any more coming in altogether. The planned disaster will not be stopped if immigrants are made to assimilate, because assimilation was precisely what Kudenov-Kalergi wanted, and his successors continue to promote. Because mixing us out of existence is at the centre of the proposed final solution to the Christian European problem. Politicians who pretend otherwise are not offering answers. In fact, they are part of the problem. They are the collaborators, Judas goatmen who would mislay and betray our people for 30 pieces of silver and a seat at the government trough.
Can I make something clear to you? UKIP is not against immigration. We welcome immigration. We want immigration. We want immigration.
We are a proud people, we have a very proud history, and we have every right to hold on to our racial heritage and to our culture as others want to hold on to theirs. We have every right to keep our country British. We have every right to keep our country British.
Just think for a moment about all the wonderful things that our people have given the world. Freedom, democracy, modern medicine, jet travel, the rule of law, the scientific wonders that allow us to feed billions and understand the universe. Then think of the angelic beauty of our children and grandchildren, the glory of our music, the brilliance of our literature and films, the poetry and stone of our great cathedrals. Is it acceptable that these things should vanish from the earth, along with the people whose genius produced them? Is it possible for me and you to stand by and betray everything that generations of our bravest and our best gave their lifeblood to defend?
So now you too have joined the ever-growing band of brothers and sisters who know the truth. What are you going to do about it? You can help us break the controlled media blackout and expose the truth about the EU founders' evil white genocide project. Spread the word online. Get involved and help to build the BNP. Because we're the resistance. Our people deserve a future. Our people will have a future, because together we're going to win that future.